Walter 05 will be there. He'll let us know. Okay. So I'll wait till it comes up.
Oh, now we're live.
Now we're live.
Okay.
Take 2.
Number 2.
Yay.
Episode 3, take 2.
There we go. That's better. That's much better. So, Walter, when you get a chance, let us know if you can hear us.
Yeah, those of you that are watching right now,
Still.
just let us know.
Yes.
Okay,
Yay.
yes. Okay. We switched the microphone to the camera microphone instead of the computer microphone.
There we are. So now we're back. So
We're back.
this is Dr. Z.
Yeah, I think we have to start all over.
We might run a few minutes late, but we don't want you to miss any of this good information. But before we go further, we want to. Are there people in there?
We've got
Yes.
we've got a few people in here now.
Okay, well let's go ahead and
The sound is good, so we're good. We're ready to go.
Yay.
So we're going to reintroduce you, Dr. Z, who is a practitioner here in Wilmington, North Carolina area. And if you do anything community oriented, in energetic community, in the kind of community that's metaphysical, you would know Dr. Z's name. I found her pretty quick here. So, much to my delight. So, Dr. Z, tell us about your practice and what you do. I guess I can quit yelling.
Deja vu. We did this already.
Yes, and it won't come out the same.
That's okay.
I am a chiropractor licensed in the state of North Carolina. I have been practicing for 20 years now. I practice a technique called network spinal, which is a very gentle, non-forced technique, which, as I said during take 1, will upgrade your human operating system. So what that means is through gentle touches along the spine, this cues your brain to identify patterns of chronic tension, and then through respiration and actual wave movements through the spine, it disrupts those old patterns so that that tension can be released, and new patterns can emerge that are more energy efficient and more effective for your life.
Very interesting. So later this evening, we will put up the information. So if you'd like to reach Dr. Z or join her Facebook page for her practice, learn more.
Put the comments. What's the name of your practice again?
Network Community Wellness.
Network Community Wellness.
Yes.
She's right off Cherry Street. I know that was your part.
Cherry Ave.
Cherry Avenue, which is kind of over in the neighborhood of Mystic Elements, not real far.
Yes, walking distance.
Mm-hmm. That is so pretty down there through Park Avenue, all the changes they've made through there, the trails.
Oh, the bike path, yes.
So,
yeah, that's awesome.
and now you know. So one of the reasons, I also personally know Dr. Z, and I find her to be someone very wise. I think many of us listen to her words and turn to her for her wisdom. And so that's another reason we brought her here tonight. And we're also later tonight going to talk about her favorite stones. So stay tuned for all that fun stuff. Is anything you'd like to say, Lorraine?
Well, so about your practice, you were having a conversation earlier about.
In take 1.
No, this was
okay.
before in conversation, and about injuries and holding on to that energy, and then when it was time to release that energy, the spine would automatically release.
Yes. So anytime there's an injury, it can be from a physical trauma, toxins, whether environmental or dietary, or thoughts. So are your mind overworking you? Especially with physical injury, there's a lot of energy and information coming into your nervous system in a hurry. So the nervous system's job is to help you survive. So when you have an injury, your nervous system will create compensations in the spine to help you survive. And as you go through life, that may be something that stays with you. And there's always a moment, like you had mentioned, there's a moment when you no longer need that compensation, and that energy that was bound up in there can be liberated. There's always, what I've noticed in my practice is there's always an emotional component to any kind of physical injury. There may be a deep-seated fear, or whatever it was that you may not even have become aware of. But as I work with people and those compensations begin to be liberated, the person often experiences the emotion that they couldn't have in that moment, or so much gets liberated in that moment, and the unbinding of that compensation and liberation of that energy enables the person to have so much more flexibility in their spine, in their mind, and just in their overall view of life.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for asking.
That kind of reminds me of what we learn about massages. Sometimes if you haven't had a massage in a long time and they touch you, it can bring about an emotional response, crying. Like, I've had massages where it was like I was sobbing and I couldn't really tell you why. And they explain, like, I've even had that with Walt, that it's muscle memory.
Yes.
So is it like that kind of what you're saying, that your spine and that nerve
I've
moment?
had a similar reaction with acupuncture.
Mm-hmm.
I just started bawling, and then Leon came in the room and started yelling at him. Like, what did you do to me? It's like, I don't cry during the acupuncture. Tears were just rolling. And he just started laughing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it sort of like that? Do you think it's memory like that?
Yes. And it doesn't have to even be a conscious memory,
Mm-hmm.
because the energy of the emotion, say someone suffered an injury or an abuse at a very early age, like before they were able to even have words.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important for them to, when it comes time and the nervous system begins to release that, for them to just allow themselves to experience that emotion without trying to analyze it, because that was a time in their life where they were pre-verbal. And so in order to heal that, you have to just be with it and be with it as though you were parenting yourself as that child that was injured. So just be there in love.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
I think there's a lot to be said about how much time we should give to those old injuries, that, anytime we can help those heal, the better,
Yeah.
right?
Well, yeah, and one of the hardest works is inner child work.
I think so.
I think that's the most difficult in any type of self-healing.
I think that a lot of people have shared with me, I've done some shows and had some other practitioners in the past that had spoke of their inner child work and said that, a lot of people have told me that's what they've been doing during this time of home alone, which you had to start. I think we finally got to a point we were listening to what we were saying inside.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah.
And you spend a lot of time alone with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You either go crazy, or you start learning more about yourself, and then go through that healing. You work through that healing process.
I love
And
to.
you can still go crazy too.
I love to be by myself.
Sometimes go a little crazy can be a little healing.
So we're just going to ask y'all now, do you do okay by yourself? I love to be by myself. I truly love that energy. Do you do okay by yourself?
Yes.
How about you?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
It is a joy.
I have to say, I am an introvert. I like my space. I'm kind of enjoying the whole social distancing because everybody's energy stays, just far enough away, and I feel a lot more relaxed, honestly.
You might need a piece of tourmaline. You too can have a tourmaline point. I wear mine all the time for that, but I have enjoyed it. So before we get much further, We want to start every week with our episode of offering you a blessing. And tonight we are just going to share with you, we're going to light this candle. And if you have something you need in your life or you're seeking a blessing, we offer to you to please leave a comment that your energy can be added to this candle. We prefer your permission. But we're lighting this candle tonight that we might all, and there's a lot of chaos around us in our world right now, especially, the year that it is and things. So we are seeking a blessing for each of us that we might move through it with a little more grace and a higher vibration.
Yes. Thank you.
Be blessed, my friends. May you know your blessings, and if you need a blessing, please just list that in a comment.
And if you prefer privately, that's fine too.
That's fine. You can also send that, or you
Send
don't
it
have to
messenger.
say one at all. You
Yeah.
could just say it to
Just
yourself.
send it energetically too.
We definitely want you to respect your own privacy as we would. So we also wanted to take this time and speak of gratitude. There is a lot of things going on in the world. And part of the show tonight is about how to cope, how to raise your personal vibration, how to face all of this and maybe come out stronger and wiser. But we have some work to do. And one of those things we think is to remember how blessed we are. Not all of us, remember to have gratitude. So I'm going to let you start, Lorraine. Oh, nice. Do you have a gratitude you'd like to share? Would you like me to move on to Dr. Z?
Hello, Dr. Z. Do you have a blank stare give you a clue that I wasn't ready?
Just a little bit. It was like, what? Yeah. So I could,
Wow.
or I could start. You can start.
I'll start.
All right, start.
All right. I feel like it's always a good reminder to remind myself to be grateful. That's what I have on the whiteboard as you walk into my practice right now is, for what are you grateful? And there's a lot of things that's interesting what the kids will write. And I have so many things. I'm grateful for the opportunity that I have to encounter the people that come into my practice, and I'm grateful for their trust that they place in me to assist them on their journey to wellness. I'm grateful for everything in my life that has brought me to this point, that has brought me to be here with you two.
Oh,
So thank you.
we're grateful you're here. See, there's one for you. Have you thought of one?
Yes. I am grateful for my husband and my kids. And I'm also grateful for the tough lessons that I've had this past year. I've learned a lot about myself, and I've grown from that, and they were not all easy, but I made it through. And I came out better.
Ordeals do that to us.
Yes.
They stretch us and grow us stronger.
Yes.
Well, so I'm also grateful. I'm generally, if I wake up and the sun comes up, I'm pretty happy. If they happen on the same day, all the better. But it's my anniversary today, so I'm grateful for my husband, Walter 5. I'm grateful, now I have to say my kids. No, I'm grateful for my children, and I'm grateful for the people who are my chosen family. And I'm grateful that through this time of the pandemic and the things going on in our community, that I see community working together to help one another. That means a lot to me. Community is a thing. So if you have something to be grateful for and you'd like to share it, you may also feel free to leave us a comment.
And Gail, I'm grateful I have all of you like-minded people to help us through these trying times. Thank you so much.
Oh, we love you,
you.
Gail. You're always so nice.
And we did get a couple of blessing requests. Gail, Joni, and Jeff and Jonathan.
All right. Well, we will add those into the candle, and after the show, we will continue to burn the candle if we don't make it through. In your own lives, feel free to light a candle too. So that can be very helpful. So tonight's segment, our first segment, our main segment, is asking Dr. Z, who is a very wise person that I happen to know, if she could share with us her personal practices for raising her vibration during the COVID experience. Like, what practices have you brought into your world, or have you focused on, just so we can get through, so you can get through. How might you enlighten folks who are trying to figure that out?
And are you doing anything different now than you did before COVID?
A lot less time on social media, and just getting away from the screen, getting outside. Getting outside in nature doesn't have to be any farther than my backyard. The other things that I do are just putting my hands on my body and breathing into those places, because when there's anxiety, I usually feel it here, and anxiety is is a form of fight or flight, and just bringing breath and movement. Sometimes I can't get the breath into these places, and sometimes just moving the body, but with the hands on my body, so that I have a connection with myself. Because a lot of times during all of this, so much of it I feel like is like static outside of me, and it's disrupting my field, I guess. And so I feel a lot less grounded, and it's very heady, like everything is all up here. So to just bring it down, and whether it's at my umbilicus or the belly button, at the solar plex, at the upper chest, that high heart place, just bring some breath in there. And sometimes sounds will come out. And just allowing that to happen. And that will always just kind of settle me down, like it is now. Like, why was I nervous being here about this? So thanks for letting me demonstrate for myself.
So you would call that conscientious focus.
Yes, focused attention. Focused attention with breath and with multiple perspectives. So focusing on the touch, where my hands are, on the movement of my body, and the breath and the energy. So those are 4 things to focus on. So focusing on those 4 creates a greater vibration and a greater elevation of energy than just focusing on one of them at a time.
But also doesn't allow a whole lot of other thoughts to come in either.
Yes.
Because concentrating on 4 things is a lot.
Yes.
So because I know I struggle sometimes with the monkey chatter, and
yes.
So if I did something like that, whenever I do that, I'll tell myself, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
Yes.
So just saying it in my head while I'm doing it.
Yes.
That just those 2 things is helping.
Yes.
So I like the idea of adding
those
other things.
Because for me, that monkey chatter is what creates anxiety. It creates tension. I can just feel my body winding up, and it all ends up right here as this.
Yep.
So yeah.
That's
so
wonderful.
those are the few things that I do. I also light candles, burn incense, just anything to create some sacredness in the moment. I have stones all over everywhere, office, my apartment, everywhere.
She really does.
So they'll spark. One will catch my attention out of the corner of my eye and be like, all right, I guess it's time for me to sit with you today. So just those things and practicing. So this is a practice that I started a long time ago. practicing acting on the first intuition before the monkey mind starts questioning, well, what about this and what about that and how about over here? And it start this may kind of be off track, but it started with I started the practice with something really simple and mundane, choosing what I was going to wear every day. Because there was always an intuitive hit about, oh, I'm going to wear this outfit today. And whenever I let the monkey come in, when I opened the closet and go, oh, but what about that? What about that? I would try on 4 different things and end up with the first thing that I thought about. So I was like, all right, let's just practice that, grasping that first intuitive hit about what I'm going to wear today. And so now it's just evolved into catching that first intuitive hit before the thinking starts.
May I add to that I think food works that way?
Cool.
I've been learning a lot, like I've started a keto process, but I don't want to get caught up in the keto, but whatever health process we start, I sometimes find that the very thing I crave, because our mind knows what we need nutritionally, so even though it may not always be anyway, that doesn't matter right now, that it'll tell you what to eat. And then if I would just eat the thing,
yes,
instead of trying to find 4 variations of something else that might be better,
yes,
but sometimes it's just important to eat the thing.
Yes.
And that my mind knew what I needed,
I agree. 100%. I've done that too.
Yeah, so just sort of ate the thing. So I think what I'm hearing you say is that sometimes we really need to trust our inner, that, we have I want to say a more primal self that is still with us over our evolution of time, that humans have been upright on the planet. And that when we learn to hear that better, or slow everything down and get in tune with that, that is so vital, that you allow your body to be the creatures that we are. We cannot brush and prime and make everything so beautiful all the time that we take ourselves away from those truths. So it's sort of part of it, isn't it?
Yes. And I want to say that I feel very strongly that the metaphor of the whole shelter in place, going inside at the beginning of this whole pandemic, that was telling us to go inside, like you said, to go inside and listen to those things that we have been distracting ourselves from and drowning out with the videos or the social media and whatever other things we distract ourselves with.
Hurriedness.
Yeah.
People being so busy all the time they can't address things, I think I know a lot of people, and I think I've been that way in my own life, that if I stay busy, I don't have to slow down to listen to the very clear messages my body's sending
me. So many people were on autopilot.
Yes.
They were doing the same thing day after day, and it just became rote, and just not even really living and enjoying their lives. So this kind of just, it's like a snowball, it's like the whole road just got shook up, and all this snow's flying around, and nobody knows where they are right now.
Well, I think it's important to notice how many people got back into touch with art that they hadn't made time for.
Yes.
And if you are in the motivational speakers at all, I've listened to them since as far back as I can remember. And I know that a lot of times, I'm losing the train of where I was going with this, a lot of times we don't think we have time, but we do. We could turn off the TV. Absolutely. We could save a half hour and schedule ourselves for time to create. And the gains that we get from that is so important for our souls.
Absolutely.
So I think we have time, Lorraine. Where are we at?
It is 8:38.
But we're still going to go forward. So we have a what if we have time question here, so we're going to ask it anyway. So metaphysical practices comprise many things. They comprise all kinds of various spiritual pursuits. And one of the common traits in this is that we are all trying to raise our vibration. That's if you're trying to get your chakras better, if you're working with stones, if you're doing spells, however your practice is, it's really about raising our vibration. So there's one of the questions I have for Dr. Z today is, do you follow the belief system that if we all raise our vibration, that we're adding to the planet's vibration, or a galactical is a very common term we're hearing these days, the galactical vibration that's helping to counteract some of the naked
I don't know where you are.
my anniversary the negativity that we are experiencing on a global nature right now. How do you feel about that? It's called doing the work in my path.
Yes, I agree with you. And as individuals, so this is the visual I get in my mind's eye about this. As individuals, we are all points that are connector points in this entire web that surrounds the whole planet. And as we each individually energize, then the web lights up more and more. And so we're able to surround the planet with a higher vibration, more energy, a more energy rich environment. And when we gather together, which has not been so easy, but now that's happening again. When we gather together, that creates even greater energy richness, greater positivity, because when two or more gather, it creates an even larger effect than when just one person does it alone. So it's important that we continue. It's very important that we continue to, for me, my practice is to focus on loving and loving kindness in this time and every day, and seeing each person for who they are and how they are in this moment, so that they can then see them, and not even see them, just know that they have a knowing that they have a next place to be that is even greater for them, and even more positive and more just all the positive things, and to help them leap that gap. So I focus on filling that gap with love, so it's an easy bridge to cross. And that's just focusing on that, and having that love heals everything.
Love is all. Well, I as you were speaking, I wonder then, you know how when you're in a grocery store, if you're the least bit empathic, but you know if someone's standing in front of you, they might not say a word, but you know if they're having a bad day, that radiates off them. So I think in the same sense that we're all protecting ourselves in that way, if you happen to be standing in the grocery store line and you're radiating love, unconditional love, I just love all you people kind of energy, and it's sincere and it's real, and you're doing that, and 2 lines down someone's doing that, and maybe one of the cashiers are doing that, and a couple ladies behind you, then you're also building a web of positive energy.
Yes.
Don't you think it works the same way?
Absolutely.
And also, it can also work the opposite way too. You know, if they're all negative.
But that's saying that we can have that wonderful effect.
We have the ability to control that.
We do so.
If we work together.
And to change it, yeah.
Yes. So if tomorrow, let's say, we made it, all of us watching this show tonight, or whoever we share that with, if we all tried to be more positive, shared more positivity, just sitting in your car. I know when I'm going to
one.
Have you not ever sat in your car though and had someone pull up and you didn't even have to look and you knew they were in a really bad mood. I just feel that, but I mean, that may just be because
Yes,
this
I
is
have
my,
to just,
I'm a little woo-woo,
I'm a passenger with one of my family members, and they're,
Sure.
Yeah.
But I, the principle being that we can influence all around us, like shopping
Yes.
every day of our lives, on our phone calls. Like I have felt, I have come in contact with people. I have had a few moments where I recognized I had more cumulative stress than I realized. I am a person who will take it upon myself to share with you how I feel if we're in a grocery store sometimes. And I have found through positivity and practicing this that it was okay for me to let someone carry on with what they're doing, even though I strongly disagreed. I was able to just breathe through that and not spew my negative. It wasn't negativity, but I couldn't see it any other way. My frustration, I instead shifted my energy and tried to come back to that place of peace. I have a garden, well, it's not a garden. I have a place in the woods from my childhood that is my magical place, that when I need to get to ground zero, I tend to go to that. Or I go to Hearns Hollow in Texas, a magical place I love very much, or Serenary. I find a place in my mind that's comforting and good, and I remember as a good place. And so I was able to sidestep my stress. So I think we can all look for ways. How do I not always speak in negativity? How do I use my words? So it's sort of like on Facebook. I will let y'all talk, I swear to God. On Facebook, when you hear someone, when they always say negative things, like they might say, oh, blah, 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 and I want to go in and correct them. And sometimes I just let that pass and not correct them, but offer them more positive ways to state things, I think it's important if we can all embrace that, we do better. But like you said, we're not all at the same place in the dance.
Yes.
No, I've been dancing this dance a long time, and you might have just got on the dance floor. So we also have to accept people are going through their steps, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So someone commented human vortexes when we were talking about, when you were talking
Yes.
about the web.
And the
True.
nodes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
A lot of that, yes.
And we did get another blessing request from Gidget.
Hey, Gidget. We will.
And Carrie said, happy anniversary, Maven and Walt.
Yes, we're sickeningly happy. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. So, today's our anniversary and tomorrow's Walter's birthday. Just saying, if you want to say happy birthday to him. He always watches
Happy
the show.
birthday, Walter.
So I think we can all agree then that practicing positivity, even in the face of negativity, is like throwing a, what are those called in the water? When you throw them in to save somebody's life.
Oh, a life preserver.
Throw it in save somebody skipping a rock.
I know, that's where I went.
You throw them in the water.
All right, so with that.
I do want to say one more thing, though.
Please do.
And be gentle with, we need to be gentle with ourselves as well, because we can get down on ourselves for, oh, I didn't hold the space, or I didn't, because we're all human and we have our moments with being pissed off or being aggravated or being like, oh my God, how could that person think like that? But accepting, we become aware of our actions, our thoughts, our behaviors, we acknowledge them, and accepting in the moment creates a big release. Yeah.
I try to remember some of that. Like I'm sitting here now, I have a tendency of pulling my shoulders up higher and higher. And it's just, I just do that, and it's part of that.
Oh, I'm the worst.
And so I remember that if I'm doing that I must be getting frustrated. It's a trigger for me. And so I try to take a deep breath like you had talked about earlier, and I try to fill my lungs as deeply as I can, and as I release, I notice that my shoulders will drop.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something unconsciously as a trigger for myself. So these techniques are out there, these and many more, and we just encourage you to do these kind of things to help yourself in this time, because we're not all the way out of this. And so to try to live our best selves in this very compromised time, requires some work. So
And give yourselves permission to experiment and explore, because nobody has the answer.
Oh no, not at all.
not even
There's no one way. There's no right way.
Yes.
Everybody
And
has
it's
their own way, their own path,
yes,
their own journey.
absolutely.
right. So tonight we're going to go on to our stone segment next. And each week we focus on some information about a stone, whether how to identify a real one from perhaps a synthetic stone, how to, kind of learn to work with stones. So tonight I asked Dr. Z before the show, what was her favorite stone combination or what did she like to do? And she brought some of her own. We have a few specimens here if you want to guess what they might be.
Yeah, so I don't catch myself on fire. So I brought some of my favorites. So, black tourmaline and rose quartz right now. In my office, I have a couple of these situated on the windowsill like this. And the rose quartz is, of course, for the love, unconditional love, the heart opening. And the black tourmaline is for protection and capturing the negativity. So often in my practice of opening my heart, it is challenging sometimes because we've all had our heartaches and we've all been hurt. And so thinking about just opening it, the heart on your sleeve, and oh my gosh, I'm opening myself up to be hurt again. And so I feel like this combination really allows me to, it just really allows that energy of the knowing that I'm protected as I'm opening my heart to the world. And so I have those pieces. This is a really beautiful, clear piece. I love this one. It has a big, just a big chunk. And this was a gift. So this is black tourmaline embedded in some white quartz. And this one,
So, tourmalinated quartz.
Tourmalinated quartz, yes. And so for me, the white quartz is kind of a radiator or a generator.
An amplifier.
Yes, that's a good word.
I work in a stone shop.
She's been studying.
And so then by virtue of that, then this tourmalinated quartz is an amplifier of that protection. And so this one sits on my altar at home. So anyway, so those are my favorites, and I feel that I've been very attracted to them these past months for help for myself, as well as because when I'm cleared in my heart space, then life is so much easier.
And if you don't mind, I'd like to talk about the rose quartz for a minute. One of the things about quartz, it is in the quartz family, of course, because I said rose quartz, but do you mind if I touch it?
Yes,
well,
go right ahead.
Why?
Go
I
ahead.
have one of my own here today. This rose quartz I gave to Walter Five, my husband, 20 years ago, so that wherever he went,
he still has it.
yes, he does. It used to sit in his office. And so I want to recommend something to you, like if you have some trouble with self-love or, something like that, carrying a little piece like she has here, or, they come in shapes. So this is one from 20 years ago. And we have one here that Lorraine brought out that is a sheet. How do you call it? This is what they're called, right?
Slab.
Slice. So, and see how pretty it is? So any of these, but these are pink, and they do work for the heart chakra. I mean, for your heart as a whole. They help bring love and help you receive love better. How would you define that? Did I get that?
That's awesome. You did great.
So, and then this is a large piece of
Yeah.
tourmaline, and I specifically like tourmaline. I wear a piece every day, and it lays at my heart chakra to help me keep I call it the Patrick Swayze Dirty Dancing Stone because this is my dance space, and with tourmaline it says, and that's your dance space. Keeps our energy kind of separate, but keeping a piece of rose quartz where it can be an action and a function of reminding you that you're worthy of love. If you have a hard time with self-love, I highly recommend that you consider adding this to your daily life, whether it sits in a little dish in your car and reminds you in your car, like I have a little altar in my car, a little place I keep things.
I have stones in my car.
By my sink, next to my bed.
I have a piece of, oh gosh, I can't remember what it is. Something hanging from the mirror.
Oh yeah.
One of the black stones. I don't remember now. It's either hematite or.
So you keep a little altar in your car?
I've got a piece of black tourmaline in the change thing. And
then I have tourmalated quartz in this lovely ring that was given to me. And so that helps amplify that. And this is my power hand. So I like to have that memory to remind myself. I could take this paper
the AC down.
So what stones have you been using right now? How do you like to put combos together? And give us a word on that. What kind of stones do you put together? Our bodies are also, this is our temple. A friend of mine, Ariana Platten, shared with me a long time ago that this is your temple. How are you caring for it? Are you erecting a temple, or are you throwing a tent? And so as I watched, she did. It's one of my favorite. There's a meme.
A temple or a shanty.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are you growing? So I make sure that whatever I have on me is representative of the energy I want to project that day. So, I am walking around with a lot of stone, and silver is the moon. Gold leans more towards the sun energy, that kind of thing. But so I also incorporate that every day. I try to remember. I am a very sympathetic energy kind of person, so I remind myself a lot. And I wear a bracelet every day that says Lucky. I also make a product called Lucky Water, but that's not why I wear the bracelet. But the bracelet, every time I look at that, I am reminded that I'm a very blessed person, and that I'm drawing breath. If I wake up every day and I just feel grateful.
And going back to, what are you using to build your temple? I talk about this with the people in my practice. What are you feeding yourself?
Mm-hmm.
If this needs to be, everything you put in your mouth is what you are giving your body to make all your new cells from. So it's very important to feed yourself well. That has been, we can't see what's in there, Maven. It doesn't matter.
Everybody that knows
the magic potion.
Everybody knows.
And getting back to what I've been doing for myself during this time is that's one thing that I really dedicated myself to, because often when I get stressed, I go for the crap.
Yeah.
I go
comfort food.
Yeah, like give me the French fries, give me the I don't even tell the potato chips, man, bag at a time. So
been there this time. How many people had a bag of potato chips during the pandemic?
Oh my God, more.
Sleeve. You limited yourself? I told Wally he had to quit bringing the packages home. I would make it through the evening. When I got to my point of being really worried, that's how I eat. So you're right. We have to remember not to.
Yeah. So I had to I dedicated myself to feeding myself well, because that we're in a situation where we have a contagious virus floating around, and feeding myself well is one way to boost my immunity and to make sure I stay well. So, but like I said, yes, we get stressed and we go to those go-to things, and potato chips.
And in regarding stress, we're very lucky. We live here at the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Wilmington, North Carolina is definitely a tourist location. We have lots of coastal water here. We're on the Atlantic Ocean. But wherever you are, whether, like we said, get in your backyard, pull a weed,
Yeah.
Go outside and touch nature, hug a tree,
Absolutely.
walk in the park, find some way to
Walk
change your.
barefoot in the grass.
Yeah, that's very grounding too, but find a way to change your stasis. Don't just stay in one situation and expect to change. The me I see is the me I'll be. So see yourself, visualize, or take yourself somewhere else and to add some more joy in your life or a change of pace.
Yes. Joy.
So now we've got to the bottom of the page.
Oh my gosh.
It's 8:59. Can we finish it up in a minute?
Well, we can. We had that
Or
little time.
we can go over a little bit since we did start late.
Yes, we can. If you don't mind, you're held hostage now.
Awesome.
Yeah, she's in the middle. She'll have to climb over you. So Missy says, I can tell my body is wanting healthier foods as the vibration raises.
Awesome.
It's true. I found myself longing for deep red foods. Like we were having more fruit in our diet. I really felt like there was some longing for that I wanted something more nutrient dense because I had a health episode this year where I had a really bad blood pressure experience. And ever since I got my blood pressure under control, gratefully, I'm very grateful for that, I have found that my energy isn't what it was. Like before, early on in the pandemic, I was a crazy lady in my yard.
Yes, you were.
And I was all day long. I would be going 8 hours outside. I was just really ripping through things. And then after that, I've had a really hard time. And I've been so hard on myself about it. I mean, it's like
time to recover.
a constant battle in my head about, oh, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. And this week at some point, I heard my brain go, enough, you're recovering. And it was such a relief to go, oh, that's okay. I would allow anybody else, you're still
Absolutely.
recovering. I'm like, oh, I never really thought about that, and so just relaxing into that, I've quit having this bout of muscle spasms because I was so tense all the time, berating you know what it is? My dad is the busiest man on earth. My dad never wanted to sit down, and I'm certain somewhere that my dad knows that something needs done at my house, and I just know it. And it is a constant fight, but whatever motivates us, we should be kinder to ourselves.
Yes, absolutely.
So there. Do you have anything you'd like to add, Lorraine?
I don't think so.
Well,
Not,
so.
I don't know.
Okay, well, there we are. Well, we want to thank you so much for coming, and maybe
Thank
you'll
you.
come back someday. And
Awesome. I would love to. This has been great.
This
Thanks
was
for
wonderful.
having me.
It's
Thank you
really
so much.
nice. So everyone, remember we put her business name. You want to say that again?
The Network Community Wellness, and I am Dr. Diana Zachariah, otherwise known as Dr. Z, because that's just a lot easier.
Zachariah.
Zachariah, yes.
I've always said that as Zakara. I'm terrible.
Yeah, you have.
I have. I have. That's because that's how I've heard other people say it. That's that may be just me. Maybe I think that's how I've heard other people say it.
Maybe.
I'm-
Some people have. I get that, and
No wonder it's Dr. Z.
yes, it's just a lot easier.
So all over town, if you're doing community things in this kind of vein, you'll probably hear her name.
Wasn't there something about the beach? Something going on at the beach coming up soon, or
Are you pushing me? Hi.
Never mind. Good job.
No, I know
No.
what she's trying to say. We are trying to organize that Maybon, which is the autumnal equinox, which is Tuesday the 22nd. We are trying to make an arrangement to have an open circle, a celebration of, for a lot of earth-based spiritualities, it's Thanksgiving. And so we thought if we could all stand together with social distancing in place, that it would be very lovely to come together. And so that is what Lorraine is mentioning. But
I couldn't remember what it was, so I'm sorry if I
That's
pressed.
It's,
you.
it's how Mystic Elements is going to we are trying to do our Maybon in a public way. And I'm going to see if we can't film it too and broadcast it. But we want to make sure before we say 100%, I don't have all the Wrightsville Beach stuff down all the way yet. I'm a Carolina Beach kind of girl. But we want to have parking. So our dear friend Deb has suggested that maybe the north end of the beach has more parking. So we're going to go feel it out, and words are going to be coming soon. You heard it first here.
I saw that.
Anyway, we really thank you for joining us. Lorraine and I love doing this. Someday we have faith. We have positive energy that we're going to start the show and we'll get to stay on the air.
Yes, and stay. And the sound, the picture, everything will start right at the beginning and stay the entire hour.
We'll just have to wear Ganesh shirts, the remover of obstacles, and just. So
I don't know what I need to do.
Well,
we'll figure it out.
We appreciate you being here. We would
Yes.
really love suggestions from you about the show, what you'd like to see, what you'd like to hear, and.
I forgot to tell you, I do have next week's show.
Oh, we do. You did
Yes.
forget to tell me. Hello. Let's hear this together.
We discussed it.
Oh, we have discussed
We did
it.
discuss it. So Deb is going to be coming on next week,
Oh, wonderful.
and we're going to be talking about tarot spreads.
Oh, very
and
nice.
the tarot cards and different tarot and just all about that.
Well, awesome. That's always wonderful. See how much trouble we can get into with Deb. All right.
Really fun.
So thank you, everybody. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
We are grateful for you.
Yes, absolutely.
So
Thank you so much.
may you be
Be well.
blessed. Be well.